Episode 4, take 2.
Yeah, again.
Yeah, the Dutch recording last week also had a ton of problems. Oh no, it was the week before that, or was that also the?
That was the English one.
It was the English one? Yeah. This time it was the dog ripped out my internet cable, and that's actually my fault because I didn't properly perform cable management. Because every time I think about it, I'm busy doing internet things, and I got punished for it today. Oh well.
It's really strange on my end. And I see Jarno, I see him freeze.
Yeah.
And then he stays in that position for a while until Zoom figures out, okay, it's time to boot Jarno from the conversation. But it can take over a minute before that takes place. So I'm like, yeah, what are you doing? What's happening? Okay, let's skip all that. What were we talking about? I asked you how your week was. You went to Friesland. To give you a too long, didn't read. Jarno went on holidays. I've just started my new job as a trainee in urban planning. So yeah, basically I am just working a 9 to 5 every single day now.
Weekdays.
Yeah, that's what you said the last time as well, but I actually enjoy it because it's something I chose for myself. I've studied this. I enjoy it. And I also know that I'll probably not have to don't have to work for 40 years because, well, I'm invested in this, and I saw my retirement looming on the horizon already. Jeez.
Yeah.
I haven't told everyone. That's something I forgot. I'm also a bit ill. I have a cold, so sometimes I make I'm not as clear as usual, and you will hear me cough a lot. And, yeah,
those noises they're used to from me.
Yeah. Rolls a switch around. No, but it's something I chose. It's well, it's fun, and it's good knowing that I probably don't have to do this forever, or if I do it forever, I don't. It's not necessarily the case.
Very relaxing.
Yeah, that's a very relaxing thought. Then you went on holidays.
Yeah.
With some kind of influencer holiday village.
Yeah, in Friesland, my girl was following the Huismuts, and they bought a vacation homes, bungalow park, to fix it up and redesign and whatever. Leon kind of knew it wasn't done yet. I didn't. Usually I'm a little bit of a, what do you say, a little stickler. I want to vet everything. I want everything to be okay. I didn't on this one. I was like, okay, if you're following her, let's go. We got there. It was a fucking muddy mess, and it was just a shit show altogether. Don't want to elaborate on it further. But I did get more appreciation for the pinball machine we live right now.
Yeah.
Can't wait to leave here still, but it's not as bad as I thought.
No.
At least it's airtight.
With today's price action, you actually might get a bit closer to that. We're up again. I think it's mainly because of the new updates, which I was informed about this morning before it went public. And that was also the point where
I think this pump is because of the update?
It might coincidentally be the case.
It started earlier this morning, didn't it?
A bit, but at the point I was informed about the new release notes. That was before it went public.
Yeah, they were on the website. They were on the website before the announcement. Let me share my screen.
Yeah, because we have a new update. It's 2.21. 2.21. Take the lead. What's in it?
It reads, Overledger is the world's first blockchain agnostic API gateway. In version 2.2.1, released today, we have added support for POLYGON, an Ethereum-compatible network providing faster transactions and lower costs for users. And these are this is the announcement on the Quant website, March 3rd. Kind of reads the same as Andrew wrote. The full standardized Overledger API is now supported on the Polygon scaling solution. Pardon me. Polygon solves common blockchain pain points, offering low gas fees and high speeds without sacrificing security. To date, there are more than 6,000 dApps already using this system. In numbers, a transaction that costs traders $50 and takes minutes on Ethereum now costs less than a cent and is instantaneous on Polygon. All Overledger functions available for Ethereum can now be performed on Polygon testnet, such as creating a MATIC transaction, searching, monitoring an address, and more. Support for Polygon mainnet will be available shortly. Polygon integration is part of Quant's product roadmap for Overledger, providing seamless interoperability of smart tokens across multiple DLTs and blockchains. And then the release notes will link in the description for the true fanboys. Not gonna go through them. So Polygon.
Yeah.
You said you did your homework, Tim.
I
Fire
didn't.
away.
I didn't.
Oh, you cheating little bastard.
Yeah.
we were supposed to start half an hour. No,
Yeah.
45 minutes.
No, that wasn't because I did my homework. It was just because I took some time off.
Yeah, and he sent me a text. Yeah, can we start at 8:15? So I can do my research. First, he wanted to relax, and then it was, yeah, I've got to read up on Polygon. And I was like, what? I thought you didn't have any interest for all the tech stuff and shit.
No, yeah, well, I didn't.
It's
It was
okay.
more of a question. Hey, can you do that? But you didn't, and I didn't either. Yeah, well, I know that Polygon is another crypto. It apparently is a good thing. I don't know. And
Yeah,
honestly, I don't really care about Polygon, but it's nice that they are with Overledger now.
Quant covered it pretty much. I mean, it's just Ethereum, but quicker, better. Let me fix this. Quicker, cheaper, etc. What you see here is Gilbert also tweeting, "Hello at Polygon, connected to Overledger for enterprise interoperability and multi-DLT MDApps." And he quotes the tweet from Andrew that I read to you earlier. And Quant also tweeted the same. Today we released Overledger to add support for Polygon, which is amazing. Obviously, it's again a little bit of buzz created. I think Polygon is a pretty big name for a lot of crypto noobs or crypto schnitzeltjes. And so this is proper exposure. I think most of us will agree Quant needs that in the crypto space to get more traction, to get more wallets. It's I spoke about this today in the Quamfy Lounge. Quant is one of the best kept secrets, and one of the hardest projects to get into, to buy, and to hold, simply because it's there are so many dependencies. I mean, it's not just interoperability. I mean, if you're looking for the buzzword interoperability, there are so many chains that claim to have that, and they have way more wallets and way more buzz and way more of everything than Quant does. So if Quant comes up with only 40K wallets, claiming they have solved interoperability, and you don't know what interoperability entails, and you do not know the clients and all that stuff, it's just easy to pass it by. Also a factor for many crypto people, if they actually already did their homework, is that Quant has quite a centralized character to many, and it's a bankster coin. It focuses on governments and banks, and that's not the crypto way. So a lot of people that are actually read up and potentially even understand, they might not go for it for ethical or whatever kind of reasons you wanna call it. So integrating all these networks might have people at least looking, and only the few, the proud, will buy into it before it reaches 4-5 digits.
Yeah, I just looked up Polygon, and apparently I didn't know, because I frankly don't care about other cryptos. I think it's all pretty much the same thing. I know it's not the case, but that's just a bit of a charged argument. Polygon apparently is a scaling solution to Ethereum. And yeah, apparently it scales Ethereum because ETH isn't very scalable. I don't know. That's what they say about it. So, okay, cool. Apparently they are now on Overledger. So if you want to do some stuff with them, that's possible through us. Good for them, good for us. That's it.
Try and create an MDApp.
Yeah.
Characteristics of Polygon mixed with XRP or something.
But anyways, it has a huge following. I just checked their Twitter. They have over 1 million followers. So huge crowd of people being happy about Polygon, I guess. Good for them. So welcome to Quant, welcome to Overledger. Enjoy the show.
Exactly.
Good. Then something else. We covered it already, kind of, and I got some questions about it on Instagram again, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. Very briefly, there was again some noise about the 15th of March. I noticed that people started freaking out again because I posted the Dutch episode on the social media, and people started, 15th of March, supply shock, what's happening? What's happening?
People are
nothing,
so
guys.
special.
Nothing. Okay, so can we get that straight? Nothing is going to happen, and that's where I want to cut this short.
Might want to elaborate a little bit on it, because what we said in the Dutch video was that we do not expect very much to happen, and here's why. When we started with remote connected gateways, a couple of hundred people applied. I was one of them, and let's say that there may be now 1,000 remote connected gateway operators. Still on a freebie plan. So that would mean 1,000 times £100 that would that needs to be paid in QNT. People that were in a year and a half ago did not pay 120 euros for one QNT. I paid under 10 euros back then. So I already have the QNT. I do not need to buy it. So that's not going to have an impact. There could be potentially other developers. I mean, there's a license for $199 or pounds, and there's a license for £999, depending on what type of developer you are. Let's say there are a bunch of those, about 200. Wouldn't even make a dent still. On the other hand, and that's the speculative side, if there are big companies, enterprises, banks, whatever, who were on a free plan and they were trialing, and they need to get their licenses as well, then that potentially could create some demand. We'll have to see, but I think wouldn't get my hopes up. Wouldn't try and sell the news. Wouldn't try and buy the rumor. I don't know what people do, but yeah, just be prepared for everything as always. And I do have my hopes up that we're going to get mainnet on the 15th for the remote connected gateways, but there's nothing that points to that.
No. H1, Jarno.
Yeah, first half 2022.
First half of this decade.
We'll have to wait and see, but the Eugenes amongst us, they create a hype over these dates, and it's based on nothing. It's based on farmers' mathematics. No disrespect to farmers, but it's just guesswork.
Bierveldjesberekeningen.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's garbage. There's nothing substantial to support it except for a lot of hopium and speculation. So don't fall for that. Definitely not.
Well, you did it in the clickbait again.
Of course, you need to put in some clickbait. But we debunk those things. I mean, I usually only clickbait stuff if it gets addressed in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah. Otherwise, you shouldn't.
I'm trying not too badly clickbait.
No. Okay, so we've debunked that again. So that kind of covers what we did in Dutch last week. We spoke about some other stuff. We obviously also mentioned, because we can't ignore Jarno is gone.
Yeah, I need to keep my eye on the dog. Oh. He loves rubbing up on the couch.
Nice.
Sometimes scratching his paws at it.
Yeah.
It's my couch, not his.
Okay. So basically, we also spent some time discussing the entire political situation in the world at the moment because, well, we are not in a vacuum. I would really prefer being in a vacuum, but we are not.
If
So yeah,
I
something
would
has
put
to
you in
be
a
said
vacuum,
about it.
you'd be having a lot of problems.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So we were talking about what's currently going on, and we kind of reached the conclusion that, well, apparently it's not the end of the world yet, at least not for the crypto market. There's some interesting activity, but how that exactly works, we still don't know. There's still a lot of uncertainty. We see that the narrative now is that rich people at least, fleeing into crypto, Bitcoin mainly, and also a lot of ordinary people going into these coins. And apparently that's not crashing the market for us. But we have to see. And then the world is in huge tension at the moment. A lot of uncertainty.
Yeah, there are some talks about peace talks on the horizon. We'll see. I think the biggest shock for now was over. It seems that everything was pumping today until it didn't. I think it's always dangerous to label the people that are buying or pushing price because we're saying they're rich people, oligarchs, and all whatnot. It's just the crypto machine doing its own propaganda and grave digging.
Yeah.
And more often than not, they're just whales and market makers behind those narratives. And it is so easy to manipulate all the dumbass kids on Twitter and Instagram and lure them into buying the pump and actually creating the pump so other people can dump on them.
Yeah.
And do it again. It's
it's a rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I'm not really following that narrative. And now Bitcoin is the fucking savior again. And so, well, some people were crying that it would go to 15K. In the meantime, we're still going sideways on a yearly time frame. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, even during peak uncertainty, we haven't crashed, which is we haven't crashed yet. But that's kind of surprising to me. And it might speed up some developments. We know about Swift longer than most average people. Most people didn't even know Swift existed until a couple of weeks ago. Well, we were talking about Swift daily more than a year ago. So that says something about how far we are ahead, I think, of the crowd in terms of how this banking system works, which players are there and how it could function.
Sanctioning with CBDCs and providing support with CBDCs and all that stuff is way quicker. Hold on. It's quicker, it's easier, it's cheaper, more reliable.
What do you mean by sanctioning with CBDCs? What's that?
Blanking. I read something this afternoon on that.
So you're assuming then that the Central Bank of Russia has a central bank digital currency, and you want to boycott or sanction the Central Bank of Russia. Is that what you're saying? That gets easier done, or is it easier for Russia to evade sanctions? What's your?
If countries are part of, let's say, the euro.
Yeah.
Or if there's going to be an IMF kind of CBDC for a world coin or whatever. If countries decide to join that, like they join the EU or NATO or whatever, that could be an incentive for people to behave or countries to behave. And if countries do not behave, they could get sanctions in that way. I mean, CBDC, we are thinking about what it gets us. But same with Swift right now. If you don't want to do business with another country, or you want to penalize a country in some way, shape, or form, it's way easier to do that with with the CBDC structure, like a DLT structure, than that it would be with the current system.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
that makes sense.
And
Yeah, a lot of people are thinking that the current system actually. No. Sorry, I'm just not making. I'm kind of not making sense at the moment.
The
Sorry.
current system has the illusion of being private and being.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because people don't know shit about what's going on. People
Yeah.
don't know, and I'm not pretending that I do. But the way money travels right now, it's just obscurity, and fraud is
Yeah.
at an all-time high. It always has been. So it's because it's really easy to lose money right now, or to make a mistake, or even to what seize accounts, all that kinds of stuff. It already is, but people pretend like it's not. And the same with cash. We talked about that. Cash is not private.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my point. Kind of, I'm just thinking slowly, but people somehow claim that by the fact that they're against CBDCs, that the current system kind of doesn't have all that stuff. But you can still control money. We can still control money flows. We can literally just detach people from the global financial markets, and they're screwed. So that's not necessarily an argument for CBDCs, but it does prove that at least in the fiat currency system, things are still pretty messed up when they want to punish you. And even with crypto, because that's the point, you can trace crypto transactions.
Yeah.
You can still freeze wallets because you can trace where they're from.
Yeah.
It will get very, very difficult for you to anonymize digital ledger technologies, networks on it.
Most people that are commenting on CBDCs are crying, just like Pomp did, on that it's the biggest crime against humanity, privacy, whatever. But the CBDCs don't even exist yet. And unlike fiat, it can not be printed in a physical form. So it's all programmed, and everything that's being programmed is being programmed by humans, and humans make choices. So you can literally program a CBDC to be anonymous, untraceable, and all that stuff. You can do whatever you want if you want to. And we always assume that it's going to get worse because governments want to control us and they want to know everything we do and all that shit. And I think that's the case for Google and Facebook, but for governments, I don't know. I saw people talking about social credits and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty dystopian, the crypto folk.
Yeah.
At least the loud ones, the people that speak up. And I think the contrary is true for CBDCs. I think with CBDCs, everything will become more honest because fraud will be very difficult if it's on a distributed ledger system.
Yeah.
You cannot skim money off the top if the records are being held on 10 different ledgers. You simply can't. With CBDCs, every transfer, every transaction will be instant, speed of light, if you want to.
Yeah.
You could potentially track everything if you want to. So that means that if somebody decides to steal a couple of million, say a government, who knows what, or a charity, you can actually follow that the same as you can with Bitcoin or with Ethereum or with whatever, because everything is marked. So it makes everything so much easier. So it keeps people, I think, more honest. I might be naive in that. Same goes with if you look at what's going on in countries where private banks decide you cannot withdraw money. I mean, they cannot do that, but they can. And you need funds right now to feed your family. Then the central bank could issue a certain amount of cash that could be in your special CBDC wallet instantly. And it could be labeled that you can only use it for primary needs:
Yeah,
medicine, food, and gas.
I think with the point you're making here is that everything will be technically possible, right?
Yeah, everything is possible.
But that's kind of the point I made last Tuesday in Dutch, and I'll do it here again because I think it's an important point. And that is that currently what we're seeing is that they are discussing the technology which underlies CBDCs, and that will go relatively fast, right? Because, well, we can do everything already. It's just a matter of making decisions which kind of networks are we using. We can coordinate that stuff. Once we've done that, we will enter the tricky part, and that's in getting the regulation in place. Well, we're going to deal with lawmakers, we're going to deal with legal stuff and political pressure, right?
Yeah.
So they will have to figure out how they're going to implement this. What I think, for us being QNT holders, first, the CBDCs are not our main business, right? It's not, I can't stress this enough, it's not our core business. It's just one of the things that happens here. There are 28 verticals. So please don't focus on CBDC solely. However, what we are currently expecting is that we will get some kind of name drop from one of those central banks or other government organizations that they are going to work with Quant. I think that will do for us, because the point that we're actually going to see CBDCs, that will be somewhere in H2 of this decade, to make the pun. I think, seeing it operational, but that doesn't matter because we are speculators. We don't actually need the technology, we're just speculating on the price, right? Sure, if you're holding until 2030, you might actually see the CBDCs being in place, right? But I think that's going to happen. And also the reason that we see such a strong discussion on crypto Twitter, or actually a one-sided discussion, is it's crypto Twitter. It's literally people abandoning the traditional system.
Yeah.
Don't expect crypto people to embrace the traditional system. It's madness. But the amount of people in crypto is very low compared to the general population. So it's a very warped discussion. I think most people don't even know CBDCs exist. And now it's only the kind of the extremists on both sides. You have the total geeks who care about the technology, and the people who are kind of against the financial system. And then you have it's just a bell curve, and most people are just in between there. And both will stress the goods and the bads, but at the end of the day, the lawmakers and all the legal people will figure out a way to implement them without harming your privacy and stuff. Sure, that might be a bit naive from my side, but I think that's how it will go, because it's just a government project. And sure, there are corrupt governments who can also issue this. If they do it in China, I don't think they will really care about your privacy, but they already don't.
What is also a possibility is everybody's just going to get a number. Everybody's going to get a number, because we're talking tech. And now everything is being done by humans. That's why everything is so expensive. It takes so fucking long, and it's just a fucking corrupt shit show. As soon as you let everything get handled by machines, a machine,
it's kind of the internet of trust, right? That we're talking about now.
Yeah. A machine doesn't know who you are. A machine doesn't care where you spend your money or what you do. Let's say it's the government, right? Not Facebook or Google or whatever. So they have no incentive to sell your information. Everybody can just simply be anonymous, even if you use your real name. A computer doesn't know the face with the name, but we always think that that's the case, but it's simply not. And the anonymity can be guaranteed by those means. But when you misbehave, or when you commit a very serious crime or whatever, or you wire a very, very large amount of money that's way outside your means, then it could get flagged, and then you can get a human to check. That's already happening right now. So everything is possible, and everything can be done, and I think it will get better. I mean, people were crying a couple of 100 years ago when the postal carriages got robbed because their money got stolen, and then there were banks, and then et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And there's always fear, and there's always a fear narrative, and everybody is always crying that it only gets worse and worse and worse, and it will never get better. Same with the mobile phone example we gave. We always fear what is new because we do not understand it, and that's perfectly normal, perfectly natural, and understandable. But we got to be aware of that bias, and there are so many people acting out of fear all the time. It can be useful, but in some cases, I mean, obviously, we need to voice what we want and what we need, but remember that the people in government are the same people that also need to use those things. And most governments are not dictatorships. So if they dictatorships, that sounds like a brand we need to bring out. Some very high calorie crisps with sugar or something. Okay, sorry, but
I thought dictator chips, as in computer chips. I thought,
yeah,
you can make some very fancy warfare out of that.
That could also be a thing with Overledger on it now. But so every time they make a decision, they also make it for themselves. If they have children and they decide to cut student loans or whatever, they're actually cutting themselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I think we're just speculating at the moment. Exactly, and that's the reason why I always want to kind of.
Obviously, we're speculating, but I just want to give some perspective on the people that are always negative on all these things, the anti-banks, the anti-governments and shit. It's and that's the reason why they don't buy QNT for a lot of them, because it's a bankster coin, dude.
Oh, definitely, and that's,
get a hold of yourself.
Yeah. No, true. I pointed that out in Dutch. I was renting in Dutch actually. About the entire thing we see on the social media space around Quant, and we see a lot of noise now in those 28 verticals that we have. We see a lot of noise currently about CBDCs, and that's partly because of the Quant team itself is focusing their marketing. Andrew is really doing his job to push the CBDC narrative through the Digital Pound Foundation, through the Digital Euro Association, through all that kind of stuff. So from the Quant team, we see a lot of activity there. Yeah. But besides that, we don't really see any other news. So what does the community do? We just start kind of replicating what the Quant team is posting. So we see momentum around CBDCs. Well, what Jarno said is that when you go back 2 years in time and even more, the narrative around Quant was a bit different. Remember, we are in 28 verticals, so we can literally buy any kind of coin, but for some reason we are the banker's coin at the moment. But we don't really have to. 2 years ago, they were working with Simba Chain. Yeah. There was some
logistics
publicity about that. Yeah.
Logistics for the US military.
Yeah. And then we were the Simba chain coin or some reason. And we'll probably be the coin of everything at the end of the day, because, Quant is just a network, or at least a computer program that just connects all these networks.
Yeah.
We're just doing our job there. Overledger is just doing its thing.
It's very interesting. And the CBDCs obviously get a lot of attention because, and that's what we said in Dutch as well, the majority of the crypto space is focused on being money or replacing money or being a payment network. So they the vast majority are focused on the CBDC thing. So that gets a lot of eyes. So it makes sense for Andrew to focus on it as well. But don't forget, Oracle is not focused on money. Same AWS and the consultancy firms and whatnot. There's so much going on. SIA, Nexia Cold, the Nexia group, huge payment network. CBDC or not, that traffic is there and it works. Healthcare, self-sovereign identity, digital identity, EPSI, Inetma, all those things. They all
have not necessarily finance.
Yeah, they have more to do.
And they're money. Still there. Yeah.
You know what we forget? We forget money is a tool, and money is a way of doing everything in the world. Money is not the end all be all. Money is just an instrument. And people on crypto Twitter always seem to focus on it as if everything starts there, and it does in a way, but it doesn't.
Yeah, it's just a matter of trading data.
Yeah.
Money
Yeah.
is just data being traded between A and B.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fungible way of transacting.
Yeah.
So we're not trading beads for mirrors for cars. No, we decided we have a money, and that money holds value, and that's the
Yeah.
way how we can get our needs fulfilled.
Or it doesn't when your country decides to invade another country and they have sanctions and your entire then suddenly that's fun, but well, it's not funny. I mean, it's tragic, but it's kind of ironic because then the people behind like the dinosaurs, they say, well, fiat currencies are backed by the government, by the army, and then your country decides to invade, and then the army that supposedly should protect your currency then just literally destroys it.
Yeah,
that's ironic. On the other end, is crypto stable? Don't think so.
Almost.
Yeah, well, I think, well, at the end of the day, the best thing is just an internet of trust between with stabilized stuff, not reliant on humans, because humans will make mistakes. They will terribly screw up. So we need a different form there. I think that argument is pretty clear. Yeah.
Pretty often, smart contract leaks. Oopsie.
Yeah. Yeah, that's DeFi. It's reliant on code. Well, I wouldn't trust code with everything. It's working by humans. Interesting. How we've been talking about Quant. We got some questions on Instagram, but the questions on Instagram were, yeah.
Guys, be better. Try harder. The fuck. I saw the questions. It's man here. At least we get something. Quant, fire, bullish, bull. I read the emojis as well. Thinking about accumulating some more QNT, but not sure if we may see lower prices soon. Are we ready to rocket?
What do you expect us to answer there? Like,
why isn't Quant pumping like the other alts? Is Quant a 10k coin when staking? This time with an H. Congratulations, good job. When will it hit Bitcoin market cap? Yeah. Let me see.
I have my crystal ball with me.
Yes, maybe. Yes. Yes, and yes. I answered all your questions.
Oh wait, it's not going. Okay, this is my piggy bank of fortune. We're just going to ask it questions. So give me question number 1. Oh, it's blurring out. Okay, magical piggy bank.
It's focusing on the wrong pig.
When? Yeah. Oh, I saw what you did there.
Sorry.
When moon? Yeah, well, okay. I don't know. Please do better. We're not going to answer this.
There's no point because we cannot answer it truthfully.
No. I'm not going to do. Oh. Okay. We got cut off. Jarno has been cyber attacked by the Russians. So yeah. Okay.
Hack.
Yeah. Now we were talking about. We were asking the Magic Piggy Bank.
Quant price.
What to answer? Yeah, about your questions. Well, we're not going to answer them. It's a bit ridiculous. When staking, as soon as the gateways go live, that's the only thing I'm going to say about that. I think we've kind of covered Quant for this week. It's been a boring episode. I was ill. But anyways, we did talk about some stuff. That's something I'm kind of interested about on a final note. How's your other crypto going? Do you have any other crypto? How's that? How are your ventures?
Eden Horde is what I got the NFT from for 0.8 ETH.
Yeah, how's Eden Horde doing?
I have no clue. But it's a story. Eden Horde is a story. And the first chapter was released last week. And I got to choose 1 out of 3 items to put in my bag. That's how you interact with the story. and every 2 weeks a new chapter of the story will be added, and you can interact with that by getting a new item, which is interesting, I think. But besides that, I haven't checked price. I've put mine up for sale for a little bit over 10 ETH. If somebody wants to pay it, they can have it. I have some other crypto. I got into some XCM again. XCM tokenomics changed. I like Coinmetro.
They have some juicy staking, don't they? Staking.
Yeah, it's honest staking. It's about 3 to 5%. I have nothing locked up right now. I had a ton of XCM. I had over like 75K at some point, but I bought it like for 1, 2, 3 cents. And I actually sold the top on that. But I got some back, kind of like a moon bag now. I also have a moon bag on AOBT, HTR, most of the Coinmetro tokens. It's meh. It's meh. Don't particularly care for it. I like switching things up and losing money on the fees and shit. It's negligible. I'm resisting the temptation of chasing new passive income things. What?
Poompanooms.
Yeah. Well, I was in Lux, and Lux was interesting because it gave a decent yield in wrapped ETH, but then the price tanked a lot, and I thank God sold it all at 4 euros or something like that. But it dumped all the way to 60 or 70 cents. And I actually thought, maybe I want to buy back in, but I didn't. And now it's 1.5 euros again. And I do like the ETH. It's still 150% a year, which is decent if you got like a 10K stack. It at least brings in a K a month in ETH. But I haven't found balls to do that yet. Fucking Ethereum fees and shit. And many of my shit coins that I have so few, it's only like a couple of €100 worth. So if the network is congested, I pay more gas than that I get from the proceeds. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, yeah.
So yeah. It's technically all moon bags. If it doesn't moon, it's not worth selling.
When moon?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
But yeah, Quant's gonna save me anyway. So.
It's the fucking savior. And
yeah,
on that
it already did, dude. It already did. I'm not working. So.
And
just
I am.
Having a QNT every now and again.
So on that bombshell, we're leaving you. It was a short episode, but we are working actually on getting some guests in the future.
Yeah.
And we will also, just like in the Dutch shows, we will actually be covering some more in-depth stuff in English. We haven't really done that yet. Last week we actually wanted to do something like that, but then the EMP came through and Jarno fell away like 4 times.
Since about 2 weeks, I'm having fuck trouble with my internet, and that was like the only good thing about this house, that the internet was always 300 megabits and it was pristine, and since 2 weeks it's shit, and I don't know why. I didn't change anything.
I think you're an agent, and that's some Russian hackers are coming for you. Okay,
they know, but I'm trying to fix it, and so we can get a little bit more in depth.
Yeah. So we will actually be looking to have some guests on the show. That's going to be more content for you guys, and we will also be covering more stuff in depth. It's just that the last 2 weeks, at least last week, we were pretty well underway, and then it's really disappointing to see all your content get deleted. So now we learned this week, and then we were underway again. It happened again. And now we have a backup solution that both of us record. So that worked. I'm just feeling ill. I'm kind of tired. So we'll cut it short for here. And bring in some better questions, guys. Then we have some more input.
Yeah, I'm bringing some decent questions.
Yeah.
And we'll do our best to answer them.
But for now, I'm going to end it here. And thank you for listening again. It's a bit briefer episode, but that happens sometimes as well. We're just human. And
Stay Quamfy.
Stay Quamfy.